action.
That's like when I'm watching.
We're smiling.
So, do you ever watch Turner Classic Movies? Are you into old timey movies at all? Dude, I love this stuff, and I'll tell you why. Because
It depends on the movie.
well, for any movie, they're just so. My favorite is like movies from the 30s and 40s. They're just so over the top acting, And I'm always off on the side. Like when Tiffany and I are watching these, I'll be like, and go, and acting, and acting, and you're surprised. I'm like the director off to the side, and you're walking in, and the girl's coming in, and whatever, and it's just the overacting is hilarious. And what's funny is you just get kind of like yes, it's on the screen, it's a movie, but sometimes I forget is like, hey, these are just regular people just pretending they're reading lines, and it's just hilarious to me how over the top some of the acting can be. So I find it hilarious.
Did you ever watch Mystery Science Theater 2000? Oh my gosh.
Sweet
I haven't
spot.
watched it in years, but it's still on now.
Yes.
It's still on the network. The other night I was like, what? I mean, my buddy Steve and I used to get together, and we would have some beers, or we'd have some drinks or whatnot, and we'd get together and we would just wait for Mystery Science Theater to come on.
Hell yeah.
It
So
was
funny.
it was that little robot dog and everything. I mean, it was pretty hilarious.
But in order for that to be funny to you, you have to have a very wide backlog of movies that you've seen, or you will not get. Sure. If you're not up on pop culture, you are not going to get half the references. You're just going to be sitting there going, what? What does that mean? But somebody like me that's seen every movie like 70 times, I'm just howling with the deep references. It's just funny to me.
Yeah, you got to have a good library, and then when they just happen, and they don't pull up like real obscure movies. I mean, they'll just off. They'll pull up something like The Creature from the Black Lagoon or something, and it's just hilarious to hear them talk about it, because the acting is just so.
But I would love to, like, would be great. And I haven't even looked at this, but I wonder if there's like a category where you could actually go watch the movies. Like if you go to the Mystery Science Theater 3000 site, like go into this directory, and here's all the movies that we've made fun of, and you can watch them, the full length. Because they are pulling some just stinkers out from like the 50s, where the guys are coming in. It's like a bubble. It's like a cardboard thing. And they're like, Doctor, I've analyzed the Martian attack, and the force field has a 30% chance of rebuffing any attack at this point. The iridium levels, we've got to get more iridium. How do we do this? Just, it's like tinfoil and saran wrap suits.
Oh yeah.
We were watching Lost. Here's something. Did you ever watch Lost in Space? Lost in Space.
I know I have. It sounds so familiar. Yes.
Danger Will Robinson. Danger.
Yes.
Okay.
Danger Will Robinson.
So that's on Hulu. Tiffany and I were watching that yesterday while we were doing some housework. We just had it in the background. Hilarious. Just hilarious. The velour, the spacesuits that they had that was like velvety, but had kind of like a 60s go-go feel to it. I was just like,
it could be Soul Train or Lost in Space.
Yes. It's like, listen, it needs to be space and futuristic, but it's got to have like a 60s go-go feel, man, So,
no one wants to be crew member number 6.
No, we know what happens with crew number security officer number 6.
That's what it was.
I don't want to
be the first one off the ship.
Oh, such a good movie. So underrated. Rock.
Oh man. I was having my youngest. I was having Brody watch that with me the other night, and he wasn't getting a kick out. He was enjoying it like it was some serious sci-fi movie. But the whole time, I'm sitting there just dying, because it's such a parody of a real sci-fi movie. But so it brings up a point here too. So I can remember, as you know, I've done some extra work on movies before.
Yeah, your little side hustle acting gig.
And I had had a few, and so I was telling him the other day about the when I was doing the miniseries John Adams. and I was on set for, oh man, it was like 14 hours, and I was in those pilgrim shoes with, like, the last, the bottom of the shoes were like a eighth of an inch thick. It was February. It was in Richmond. I was freezing, my butt off, and we were out there all day. And so on the scene, these other two guys, I mean, they were already like stoner guys anyways, that I'll never forget, talking to them. I can't remember their names, but they were just like, oh man, like, what are you doing here, man? How long have you been doing this? And so they're like, hey, we're gonna want you two guys. I mean, because we're all in costume. I've got a wig on, and I got all this, 17th century, heavy wool, clothes on. And they're like, all right, we're going to want you two guys set up over here, and you're going to be, just hanging out, talking and smoking a pipe or whatnot. And so they're like, oh man, we could smoke a pipe. That's no problem. So they're sitting there, and they're like taking cigarettes, and they're crushing it up, and they're putting it in the pipe. Well, cigarette tobacco is quite a bit stronger than pipe tobacco. And they thought they were only going to have to do it like, for,
4
one
or 5
two
takes.
We took fucking 24 takes. And these guys
are
I am not lying. These guys are green because they're smoking so much tobacco, and they're starting to get like nauseous and sick. And they're just like, oh my God, man. They're like, we can't smoke any more cigarettes. And so we got through that scene, and we get to this, and anyone who's seen it will know this scene. But it's when I don't even know the guy's name or the character's name, but someone's about to get tarred and feathered, and so he's coming off the ship, and we're all sitting there, and we're supposed to be like really angry at this guy, so we're all like yelling, and we're like punish him, put him in jail. And so we're just screaming this, and we had to do this take. Probably, I mean, it was at least a dozen times, because I lost my voice. I was screaming so much. And the two stoner guys were like behind me, and we're like, they're like, and action, and everyone's coming off, and they're pushing around, and we're like, punish him, and send him to jail. And these guys go, rape that motherfucker.
I'm way back.
I looked at him, and I was like, dude, I don't think they said motherfucker back in the 17th century.
It's an interpretation, man.
And they were like, oh man, really? And so every time, we had to redo it, back to one, and everyone goes back, and so you can see me in the show, and I'm sitting there, but in this one particular scene, I'm laughing so hard. I got my my hand up because we're all yelling, and my head's down because these guys they're just killing me. I mean, they keep saying stuff like that, like rape him, and I'm like, oh geez.
How many episodes on The Wire were you in? I forget that you had this acting side hustle for a little while, which was kind of astonishing. But
The Wire I wasn't in The Wire. The Wire, I got into acting right when, you can say it was acting. I mean, I did some principal work on some things, but I got into this right when The Wire was finishing, because every single one, that I would go and do, the guys were like, hey, have you done The Wire? I'm like,
it's because they were hiring half of Baltimore.
Everyone. Yeah. It's like Law and Order, right?
Yeah.
Just about every actor. I mean, I'm like the only one who's never done Law and Order, but every actor's gone up to New York and has done a Law and Order episode. And
so it's funny when you go to these shows and you see the playbills, and then down there in the credit, there's usually a season 12 Law and Order. Bill Gentry has appeared in the following, blah blah blah, season 12 Law and Order.
Yeah, and that's what it would come up as
street cred.
But everyone would say, the guy who actually got me into this was like, he said, yeah, I just got back from doing, one of the episodes of The Wire. I didn't even know what it was. I mean, this is when The Wire was going on. I'd never watched The Wire while The Wire was actually filming. And so I was like, man, how do you get into that? And he's like, oh, dude, you just, he told me where to go and how to get up a resume and send my headshots or whatever in. And, and I did it. And but it's like, everyone that I knew from this area, had gone up and did something on the wire. And by the time I was privy to it, the wire, the wire's done.
Closed out.
And
bummer.
so I was like, dang, never got a chance to. But anyway, so there's a little backstory on some of my life, anyways, and the fun that happens, on a movie or production set. But there's others too, but we won't get into them right now.
So what else has been going on? How was the week?
Week's been good. It flew by.
Workouts going good. You were pretty hyped before we got on here about your workouts, and you're feeling good and you're back.
I'm loving my workouts. I don't know if you remember, a few months ago, I was having like a lot of like hip pain and even recently I've had like lower back pain, but the hip pain, and I'm talking like hip, like deep internal, into the hip socket. Well, I've been doing so much hip strengthening and stretching over the last couple of months that it's all but eliminated now. So it's feeling good. The back's good. I'm excited to get down to Florida next weekend and actually get some real swings in, and and hopefully even get some playing in. So
and I was checking the weather. I didn't do it today though. Hold on one second.
It's money.
Have you been?
I didn't want to tell you that because
I don't want to.
Yes, because you are the cooler. Remember, you're the cooler. So if you start hyping something,
if I start looking at it,
it's going to get cooled. So I didn't even want to bring it up. But I'll tell you what, my hint will be, I think we're going to be okay. As of right now, we're going to be okay. So,
all right, yeah,
so we'll see.
Looks kind of money.
Oh, so you looked at it already anyway.
I looked at it.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Monday. It can't get any better, really.
So we're not sure where this depression came in from on the Bahamas, but it's just going to cover the entire state of Florida.
Somehow we got a low
pressure shelter. Yeah.
Somehow we got a low pressure system that came in from Virginia.
It's amazing how when I pick like dates months out in advance, like, hey, when do we want to go to Mammoth Dunes or whatever? Let's go in July. All right. How about these dates? I've just sealed the fate that that's going to be the shittiest, rainfall totals for this week have exceeded, historical proportions. And it's just amazing how I have this knack of just crushing weather forecasts for when we travel, just getting the shittiest draw out of everything. That's why I don't gamble anymore.
So James, a lot of times likes to be in charge. Not that we care about that or we mind. We're like, yeah, fine, sure, go ahead. He wants to spearhead. All right, this is where we're staying. This is where we're playing. This is what we're paying, and let's get it on. And then there's only
like Janet Jackson in that respect. Control.
There's only one thing that he doesn't have control over. Yeah. And that's Mother Nature. So she will go, no. Like, oh, you planned a trip to Pinehurst for you and 6 of your buddies?
You and 6 people that have never been to Pinehurst, and you want to give them the Pinehurst experience? How about 30-degree weather? Here, enjoy that experience.
You're not put off by that. How about 40-mile-an-hour winds?
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Anyway. So at least you got that going for you.
Into everyone's life, a little rain must fall. It's just that mine gets a inordinate amount of it compared to others. But hey, that's my aura, man.
Hey, just roll with it. It is what it is, right?
Yeah. So, well, but it didn't. So the workouts are going good. Hip pain's gone.
Yeah, back and the back pain has been really alleviated as well. So I'm excited. The whole, everything's feeling good. I've been doing a lot more stuff to help support the muscles around my knees. And my knees, I've got stage 3 and 4 arthritis in both knees.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's just, and the hits just keep on coming. And, but everything seems to be feeling much better. So, hey, 80-degree weather down in Sawgrass, I don't think it's going to hurt it.
That'd be great. I'm looking forward to that. If we can not wear pants for the first time, that'd be fantastic. So,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we're gonna have to bring some shorts and a couple pairs of shorts, a couple pairs of pants, and should have every day covered.
Well, I, on the other hand, I was traveling for work. I was down in Fort Lauderdale, and let me tell you what, traveling to Fort Lauderdale during spring break, awful. I wish we'd had the foresight to think about like when because we picked this date um, 2 months ago, and nobody on the team said Fort Lauderdale end of March. Isn't that what happens then?
Something goes on in Florida, and
No, it's not the NCAA's. What is it? Spring break. That's right. Everybody, look. My flight was delayed going down there because of not weather, traffic. Too much traffic going into Florida. Too much
yeah.
traffic. And what what made it even funnier was coming home because so coming out of Fort Lauderdale, they have there's two there's two runways at Fort Lauderdale, and they decided, it'd be funny is if we closed one of the runways and we made departures and arrivals all go
On
out
the same.
of the same runway. Because when we were taxiing out, the pilot comes on and is like, I just want to let you know we're about 16th in line to get out. They've closed one of the other runways right now, so they're getting one departure for every two arrivals. It's going to be a while. Just sit back, relax. We'll get you out of here about 40 minutes. And I'm like, what is he talking about? So I pull up my flight thing, my flight app, and I look at this. There we are.
Oh my gosh, it's like double layered too, right?
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
my gosh.
Okay, so now here's the funny thing. See the Cessna that's over here on the top right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm watching him. I'm sitting here at the window and I'm watching him just tool down. He's on the other side of the runway and he's just cruising all the way down. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is motoring. Like we're creeping up like he's like doing like 15, 20 miles an hour down the ramp, and then they come up here. So because I'm an aviation nerd, not only am I monitoring, this app, okay, I've pulled up the tower for Fort Lauderdale and I'm listening to the departures and, Spirit 122, you're clear for, and what's funny is because they were right, as somebody is departing, there's, two coming in. It's like, so you'd hear stuff like American Airlines 152, clear for departure, runway 10 left, without delay, traffic inbound 1 mile, which means hurry up. You got somebody coming in, get off the runway, go. And so I listened to them talking to the Cessna guy, and it comes in, it's your take or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And the tower goes, yeah, just go ahead and get comfortable. It's going to be a while. We'll try to get to you as soon as we can. And I'm just like, dude, they've got like 30 commercial airlines to get off. And then when I looked at my, this is going to be
We're
hard to
sure it's
see.
going to be real soon.
This is going to be hard to see on this, but I looked out my window and I took a picture going back and look at all the people
Oh my
all the way
goodness.
back.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
So, so that was kind of a nightmare part. But the one thing that I did do is I made it over to of course, the clubs came with me, and I did make it over to uh, a local club there, and it's a club called
Was it like
Jacaranda.
Jackrabbit? What?
Jack and Diane, Jack and Jill.
A
But
little
this
ditty?
is,
Got a little ditty?
yep. So anyway, this is the driving range. And now this club gets a ton of play.
Yeah, too early in the season for you to be hitting off grass anyway, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's I'll just show this again, but what you can see down the line, it's got, the mats were nice, but
Dude, that's like looks like 30 place spots there. I mean, for the mats.
no, it was actually there's about 50 stations. Now
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, what I'm
two
saying
18
is it looked
holes,
like a lot.
and then beyond down at the end, you can't really see it. To the left, all the way to the end of the range, and then to the left was the putting area. And the putting area was massive. It was probably, I don't know, 50 by 100. So you could get some good practice in there. And then when I was in, so what was pleasantly surprising about this was the short game area. Now, I know that you are not a fan of a lot of what
Here
you
we go.
call the Florida courses that, just kind of like they all kind of like blend together for you. But the short game area, I will say, at the Jack, as they call it, um, was pretty big.
She's got the jack.
So
Uh-huh.
this is the short game area, and I don't know if you can hear this, but all right. So I'll just pause this for a minute. So I'm at this point, I'm about 35 yards back, and if you scroll back to the beginning of this is you could back up to about 100 yards in the short game area, and it was fairly wide. It was about 50 yards wide.
Please don't tell me we're leaving Bay Hill for Jacaranda.
I'm not trying to compare the two,
All right. All
but
right.
anyway, it was. I got some good practice in, and then when I went in and I was talking to the assistant, one of the assistant pros in there, because the merchandise that they had laid out, I was like, this is kind of stellar. They had some Johnny O, they had Travis Matthew, they had a couple other.
Can you prove that they had Travis Matthew?
How would I do that? Let me think about that. They did have some Travis Matthew hoodies on sale, which I took advantage of, which
Those
I think is
cloud hoodies. Man, they're
just
freaking
just awesome.
soft.
But
Nice.
I wanted to show you this. So this is the clubhouse, or the
Pro
pro
shop.
shop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm talking to the pro guy. I'm like, really surprised by what you got in here. You got a big selection of Johnny O. They had nice FootJoy stuff. They had Travis Matthew. They had some Puma. They had some Adidas. They had some Dunning. They had Donald Ross. They had Donald Ross. This is a poopy. I won't say poopy.
Oh
That
gosh, you
no.
just put poopy out in public.
It's a
Lower end.
no. I wouldn't even call it lower end. I would call it middling, because um, if I lived in that area, I could see myself, joining that place, because it's 218 holes. Okay, the food there in the clubhouse, really good. I mean, you walk into some places and you get like, stuff off the grill, and it's just kind of like run of the mill. They had a legit kitchen. I had lunch there, and the salad that they put together, top shelf. I asked them. They said their busiest days there for food are Thursdays and Saturdays, because they do buffets and people just come in from everywhere. And I was like, oh wow, I guess I could see that the food's pretty good. And then I said, so there's two guys behind the desk, and I said to one of them, who turns out to be the assistant pro, I said, "Who does your merchandising? This is really good. You got a really good selection in here." He's like, "Thanks. I do all the buying." So then we started chatting it up, and so they're called, like a golf store or a pro shop is called a green grass account. And so I said, well, how often do you talk to your reps? Are they coming in, quarterly, whatever? And it varies, obviously. So he works with about 5 or 6 reps that are all kind of in the area. One is out of Arizona, but he does all the purchasing. He did all the displays. And so the thing that I learned was just kind of like how they go about merchandising. How, do they pull it off of a list, or does the rep come in with a catalog and you kind of pick through that? And that's what they do. We started talking about, like, how you put displays out, and what's a good seller. The hats really go. And I mean,
So you really stopped a pro shop
well,
attendant
it
and
was
asked them about merchandising.
it was a Tuesday morning, so it was slow, right? So that was, I took advantage of it. It was just us in the pro shop. And but then I started talking about some other stuff. Like, they're getting ready to put a couple $10 million worth of improvement into the course. There's 218-hole courses. They're going to expand the pro shop. They're going to expand the kitchen. When you're outside, when you pull up, they've got outdoor speakers playing yacht rock. It's a very chill atmosphere. The one drawback, which I found astonishing to me, is when I was over in the short game, I was getting ready to walk over, And I asked the guy, I said, uh, is there a bunker over by the short game area? Because I didn't see one next to the pitching area. I didn't see one next to the putting area. He's like, yeah, they took that out. I was like, what? You don't have a bunker anywhere to practice out of? No, just the short game pitching area and just. I was like, okay.
Did you take out all the bunkers on the
There's
course?
a lot of bunkers in Florida. That's one thing that people would probably want to practice, but okay, whatever. But again, I was looking for a place to practice. I didn't want to drive all the way up to Boca and go to like Osprey Point or whatever. And then he told me that one of the best areas to practice was it's the course where they played or they filmed Caddyshack at something Oaks. I can't recall the name of it right now, but he said
If you had asked me that before, I would have been able to tell you.
He said their practice facility or their short game area is like one of the best. There's like 8 or 9 different greens. You can pitch over water, you can pitch over sand, you can take your carts out there, you can GPS it. And I said, is it public? He's like, no, it's private. And I was like, bummer. So we got to find a way to get on that when we're down there. But it was, if you're in the Fort Lauderdale area and you're looking to get out and play and just, maybe go get some practice in, I would go look at the Jacaranda Golf Club in, I guess it's actually technically in Plantation.
But, so the club you're thinking about is actually called Grand Oaks Country Club.
That's it. Yes. Yeah. Man, we need to find a way to get on that because he made it sound like it's just an amazing practice area. And we knew that, because when we're looking at practice areas, we're looking at things that are available to the public and who's going to put money in that. I'm sure there are some private courses out there that are just phenomenal. We got to find a way to like sneak on or get an invite or something.
I'd have to, I'd have to, I'd have too many lines, that I'd have to remember and pull out if we went to Grand Oaks.
We just do the whole movie
first. When I first thing when I walk in, I have to go. Oh yeah, what do you get? A free bowl of soup with that hat? Oh, looks good on you though.
Yeah.
That would be just for starters.
Just to get it loose. All right. But anyway, let's talk Houston Open. Kind of an exciting finish today.
Yeah, seemed to be. It looked like Scotty. Would this have been 3 in a row for Scheffler?
3 starts. So
this would have been 3 starts, 3 wins.
3 starts, 3 wins. So
wow.
But excuse me. The reason he didn't win is because this purse wasn't $4 million for the winner. Because TPC first, $4 million. Arnold Palmer first, $4 million. Here, he's going to end up like in a 6-way tie for second. And they're probably everybody's going to walk away with probably $500,000, something like that. But Jaeger ended up winning it. And what was funny is you and I were texting right before. So Scheffler put one in there. He had like, I don't know, maybe 8 feet for a birdie to get to 12 under. And Jaeger
18.
put one in there at 18, and Jaeger was back about 12. And I was like, he's going to give Scheffler a look. And this is exactly what I would have done if I'm him. I'm like, put it in the middle, 2-putt, make Scheffler, prove his, that he's fixed his putting stuff. And I'm just wondering what Scheffler's when he's over the ball. Is he thinking to himself, man, if I miss this, I'm just going to hear shit for the next weeks all the way up to the Masters. God damn, I got to make this. And they pulled it left. And I was like, oh.
Well, what's funny is that Brody, my 10-year-old, said, Dad, do you think he missed that on purpose? And I was like, because I actually wondered that as well before he made it. Because Jaeger has never won on tour, and Scheffler's, ho-hum.
Spreading the wealth.
Just doing it. Yeah. And it was because I didn't say anything. I was watching, and I just happened to think, I was like, wonder if he would make this look close and but miss it on purpose. So this guy, but then I was like, no, these guys would never do that. Sometime decades from now, we'll probably hear stories about someone might let it out of the bag, like, I wasn't really worried if I don't think anybody
would ever admit to that, because they're all about it's about competing and winning and
sure.
But it is nice seeing somebody, that hasn't won in a long time, or their first win on tour.
Yeah, someone fresh. There was a bunch of them. I mean, I was who was the guy? Skins. What was it David Skins? I think
Yep.
maybe. I was pulling for him, especially after hearing his story. How like during COVID, he started like
Delivering
delivering.
food.
He was delivering food. He was a food delivery truck, and and I was like, wow, and then here he is, competing for the championship on in a PGA tour golf tournament. So yeah, it was there's a bunch of people. I like rooting for records, but I also like cheering for like underdogs, and people you never heard of, and so although I don't really have anything against Scheffler, and I don't like seeing dynasties or someone win all the time, but I do like seeing records broken. I like seeing streaks. I mean, three starts, 3 wins would have been great for Scheffler, but
But
this story turned out great.
it does get old seeing that it gets old seeing the same guy win time after time. It's what kind of turned me against Tiger, and then it's almost like Tiger to me, to use the wrestling term, became a heel, and I started rooting against him. And I find myself kind of like, Scheffler's a good guy, but I kind of like, I want the wealth spread a little bit, because now, Jaeger's qualified for all the elevated events for the rest of the year. And, he's in the Masters. He'll be at the Sony next year.
He'll be in Hawaii in January.
Or I'm sorry, at the Century. And it's just, it's just good stuff. I was hoping that, well, I'll tell you that Taylor Moore, I'm kind of in love with his swing. Watching him hit driver is just a thing of beauty. It looks kind of effortless, as opposed to like Jaeger or Toasty. Those guys, like Toasty, wasn't getting cheated on his swings.
Toasty's 5'6", dude.
It is a big ass swing, dude. He is like back and just getting everything he can,
and just hammers it.
Yeah. And I did love Toasty's drip a little bit today. The creamsicle pants with
you shot me a text,
and then the long sleeves with the white hat, the white shoes. I was like, I'm kind of feeling that.
Just blended well.
Yeah. It was good, as opposed to, although Scheffler did wear some money Nike purple pants. I think it was like Friday. I was just like, where are those? Let me see if I can find those.
Oh my God, Nike!
But how much?
Just hurting.
So Scheffler, he loses by a stroke, right?
Yeah.
So the debacle on Friday with the putting, with the missed putt, and then the missed putt, and then he ended up like with a double or a bogey on that hole. That, it just shows you how strokes on, Thursday, Friday come back to haunt you on Sunday.
I think it was his, I think it was 17. Was that the par 3? 17, he either doubled or tripled yesterday. I can't.
Now we got to go look it up.
I won't be able to find it fast enough, but yeah, so he like doubled or tripled it.
So it was 15, yesterday, and he had the double in it. Yeah, round 3.
Yeah, so I mean that at least that cost him. I mean that hole.
Sorry,
that hole cost him the tournament.
And it was 18. It was the double on 18 on Friday.
Yeah, so you can look at any of those and go, okay, well, if you didn't have that double or whatever he took on that par 3, if it was a double or a triple,
it was this. It's not just taking a double. It's getting a double with a putt this far. That was the thing. That's the thing that he's going to look back on.
I didn't know. I didn't see that. I didn't realize.
Oh yeah, go back and look at the highlight. Dude. He missed one, and then he said he just wasn't concentrating. He went to tap it in, and he missed it again. I was like, and what's funny is when things like this happen,
you're not really into a tournament. You're not really into a tournament if you do something like that.
I mean, stuff happens, but listening to the crowd, the whole, it's like somebody's getting assassinated in front of you, or somebody is like, I don't know, just ripping clothes off, and here's somebody naked, because the whole crowd,
just gasp
when it happens, it's just like, oh my God. But
does that count? Is that bad?
It's gonna end up costing him a little bit of cash, but I don't think Scotty really cares about it. But Your
His
boy,
wife is.
your boy Horschel is out there grinding though, man.
I saw Horschel today. Yeah, yeah.
He finished, I think, tied for sixth, maybe.
Horschel came in. Oh,
Now I've
Horschel.
lost it. Hold on.
I just saw he tied for seventh. He
Okay,
he came in 10 under.
so he's going to
So
get
there's
about.
there could have been a huge playoff. I mean, it could have been like a
Oh yeah,
10
there
or
was a
12 person
massive log
playoff.
jam. Um, the where's the leaderboard? So Horschel made 160K last week at the Valspar, and then he's going to make about 290K this week. And we've seen him a couple times at Sawgrass, and I'm just um, like the point that I'm kind of going with this is that you get to a certain lifestyle, and then the cash. This has always been the argument between Live and the PGA is the cash isn't coming in unless you do something special. And so it was kind of whenever I see people like that, like guys that were used to winning, like 5 years ago, and then you haven't heard from them in a while, and they're just out there grinding, making 112, 98K,
Per tournament.
Boo hoo hoo, first world problems. I get it, but still, it's just interesting to see, like he rocketed up like eight spots today.
Well, he must still be grinding hard with Todd because he's still working on getting that elbow under the shaft, under the hand, and it's just funny when I watch that, and I just go, all right. I mean, his positioning looks great. He does a rehearsal every time, and I just chuckle because, that was exactly what Todd had me working on.
And then your boy Molnati got a hole in one today, which I don't think they knew it went in because when you saw it. You saw the replay of it. It rolled a good 20 feet and then it dropped.
Yeah.
And they showed them back on the tee, and the caddy was kind of sitting there like, did it go in? Did it go in? And then somebody must have told him. Yeah. But Molnati's a guy, right? We've been talking about this. Almost dead last at TPC. Got 51K there. Then wins the following weekend. Flips the script, turns it on.
$1.5 million.
1.5. And then this
Life
week,
changer.
Yeah, this week he's going to finish like in the lower 30s, tied for, let's see. I don't even see him on here, so it's going to be kind of low. And then
well, he made more money than I did this weekend.
That's for sure. And then the other interesting story out of this that I thought was Nick Dunlap, who won the U.S. Amateur, right, and turned pro.
He was on Golf Digest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
That's recent.
So I went to go look up his player profile, and it said, tournament winnings 104,000, but it says PGA wins 1, and I was like, what? How? And then I remembered, oh, that's right, he won that one tournament as an amateur, so he didn't get any payout. So since then, he's made 4 cuts and he's made 104K. Not too shabby, and he's gonna finish top 15 out of this tournament, so he'll make some cash there.
Well, that's why there's sponsorships too. So
that's true.
He won't be wondering where his next meal is coming from just yet.
Yeah, but it's cool that we're seeing there. It's almost kind of like the equivalent of listening to on Sirius XM over the weekend. I was listening to the AT40 countdown from 1975, and it's, don't shake your head. This is good stuff.
No, because you'll pull that shit up while we're playing, and it's
it's motivating. Because when you hear stuff like this, Casey Kasem goes, "Here's a 4-man band out of England. They call themselves Queen. It's Killer Queen." And it's like, this is their debut in 1975, right? We're seeing Nick Dunlap's debut right now. We're gonna in 20 years, we're going to be talking about Nick Dunlap wins his 3rd Masters or something like that.
You squeezed in Queen and the top 30 countdown from 1975, and the same sentence with Nick Dunlap.
Okay, so that's the bet, right? That was the bet. So that's $5 coming my way.
I don't recall any bets. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, it's like what was Super Trooper? What were they saying on Super Trooper? Remember the movie Super Troopers where he had to he had to go meow.
Oh yeah,
Like, it's like,
so that caught fire in hockey for a little while, where they'd do the interviews, and yeah, we had to put the puck on goal, meow, and we came out in the second period, meow, and we were really physical, and we were just doing meow against the boards and digging it out of the. That's
yeah. This we got this coming up weekend. We're going to both be down in Sawgrass. I got my lesson with Mike. We're going to do some. We're at least going to do some practicing. Hopefully, we're going to end up going to Bay Hill too at some point. But yeah, and I've got my fitting. Actually, the fitting is first. I got the fitting on Friday, and it's a woods fitting. And I moved it. I was doing with True Spec, and I moved it to the Performance Center because I was like, well, we're going to be there. Not just get everything done, there at the Performance Center. So we got I got the fitting on Friday evening at the Performance Center, and then Mike's putting lesson on Saturday, and then we got the rest of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to go hang out at Bay Hill, hopefully, and just hit more money, 50, 60, 70 yarders than we know what to do with.
We may have to sneak out and find something local to go play. I think we may have to do that.
What's that one course that was right outside of Bay Hill? I think you went and played it. I didn't. Maybe I slept in the room or something. But didn't you go and play?
There's one.
There's public one that was right down the road.
Yeah, it's called Falcon Fire.
Falcon Fire.
There are some other ones. Like I'd still want. I want to go play Orange County. We could, we haven't played the courses. You don't like the practice area, but we could go swing by there and.
I don't care. I've never played the course. I don't know. We might.
That's
as well.
What I'm saying.
Screw it. I don't care.
The other thing
it'll be my first round of the year probably. So, I can't. I can fuck it up somewhere else. I might as well do it on some course that I know nothing
Listen,
about.
If I'm not going to replace divots, it should be in some sort of like practice facility area that I can't stand anyway. So screw these guys. No, of course we replace divots always, sort of.
Thank you. Yes, I'm sure we may hear about that, but no one's following us around anyways and watching us play.
No, it's just like you said. It's just going to be fun. When I pulled into the Jack on Tuesday, it was a beautiful Florida morning. I mean, you saw the sunshine coming in off the range. There was hardly anybody there. It's gorgeous out. It was like 70 degrees and everything, the birds are chirping, and it's just a feeling of being down there and you got nothing to do except golf. And I was like, I reflected on that for just a second. I was just like, man, for the next 2 hours, man, all I got to do is golf. This is freaking awesome. Yeah, looking forward to the trip. And I got a little surprise for you on the way down to the trip. We'll get to that afterwards. But the other thing is, I don't know how to pack this. I might have to like ship sticks this thing down or FedEx it.
Just throw it in you can throw it in my backpack. Throw it in my backpack because I'll have that too.
I can't wait.
You know what? This. As soon as you brought that up, I researched it and I was like, okay, all right. It's very similar to the what was it called? The Tour
Striker.
Tour Striker, which I have. I have the Tour Striker and I was like, okay, well, that looks pretty cool. You can kind of squeeze a little bit and, just keeps everything together there. And so yeah, bring it on down. I'll give it a whirl too and see how it feels.
So the next 3 weeks are 3 of my favorite tournaments. There's the Valero Texas Open. Then you get the Masters, and then right after the Masters is the Heritage at Harbortown. So we're gonna have to find some place to watch the Valero because playing the Oaks course a couple years ago, that was awesome. We need to get out to San Antonio and go play that.
Is that played at the TPC out there?
TPC San Antonio.
Yeah.
The Marriott there is amazing. It's got a money water park connected to it. It's the Texas Hill Country. The Marriott's up on a kind of a hill that kind of overlooks the area. Just really, really nice. And again, one of my favorite practice areas for all the TPCs. So we'll have to get out there hopefully when it's not blazing hot, but
Yes,
you'll have a good time.
definitely. No, I look forward to getting out there. That's ever since you guys have went out there. I've wanted to go and check it out. And most of the TPCs, at least that we've been to, have all been decent to really good.
Really good. Yeah.
Well, hey, that does it for another episode of GolfPlexity. We appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe if you will. It helps the channel and helps gets us out there. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Peace.
See you guys.